Howie Stern G is with you again. Howie Stern G Agape Talks. I'm going to read for you half of a chapter in a book called The Prophet by Khalil Gibron. This chapter is on love, since we've been talking about love, and we're looking at his perspective of it. But at the end of this half of this chapter, I'm going to make some commentary about the latter part of this half. All right? On love. Then Almitra spake. Then said Almitra, speak to us of love. And he raised his head and looked upon the people. And there fell a stillness upon them. And with a great voice he said, when love beckons to you, follow him. Though his ways are hard and steep, when his wings enfold you, yield to him. Though the sword hidden among his pinions may wound you, when he speaks to you, believe in him. Though his voice may shatter your dreams as the north wind lays waste the garden, for even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so is he for your pruning. Even as he ascends to your heights and caresses your tenderest branches as they quiver in the sun, so shall he descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth. Like sheaves of corn, he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husk. He grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you until you're pliant. And then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. All these things shall love do unto you, that you may know the secret of your heart, and in that knowledge become a fragment of life's heart. But if in your fear you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure, then it is better for you to then it is better for you to cover your nakedness and pass out from love's threshing floor into the seasonless world where you shall laugh, but not all of your laughter, and weep, but not all of your tears. That's a mouthful. And this brother is powerful. Lot of food for thought. And when you think about some of these statements, they're loaded with so much in them. Even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. That's a fact. Fact of the matter is, once you become vulnerable to love, once you start loving, rather, you become vulnerable to love. And I remember when I was younger, when I believe that I'm beginning to love somebody, that's when I become a little fearful. Because now I know that once I start loving the person, they can hurt me. And the more open I am, the more vulnerable I become. You know, there's a portion here that he says, if you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure, it's better for you to pass out from love's threshing floor. The threshing floor is where the sifting and the grinding and the kneading take place for you before you become sacred bread for God's feast. And that is painful. And here he's saying, if you would only seek the pleasure, then cover your nakedness. Don't go through the threshing floor. Cover your nakedness and pass out from love's threshing floor, where you will laugh, but not all of your laughter, and weep but not all of your tears. I guess it's another way of saying that you will not be totally fulfilled. I know of people who are afraid to love because they figure if they love somebody, the person will abuse them or take advantage of them. And they try to hold back. That is not really love. They will never fully enter into it. For to enter into love, we have to be vulnerable. We have to be totally open. Because in that openness, to the extent that we're open, is the extent that we will find pleasure. It's like you just have to be open, or you will not be able to enjoy the pleasure. And the more you lock down, the less pleasure you're going to find. Love won't be totally fulfilling. Because it is in giving that we receive. And if we're afraid to give, what are we going to receive? The extent that we give is the extent that we will receive. Maybe some people may not deserve it. So then you might want to try to find the right person. But if you think you're with the right person, then give your all. Don't be afraid. Love is not fearful. You cannot be governed by fear when you're looking for love. Because that fear will drive people away from you. People will figure that you're not ready. You're not giving. You're not open. You're shielded, guarded, protective. Those qualities, those things don't work with love. You got to be open. You have to be open to receive. You have to be open to give. Whichever way you want to interpret that, whether it's in the natural or otherwise, that's the reality. And the more you give, the more open you are to receive. The more you will receive. The more open you are to give, the more you will receive. There's more to this. We'll look at the other half later. But don't cover your nakedness and run away from the sifting. You won't truly encounter yourself until you open yourself. The book has to be open to be read. There are things in you that you don't even know are there. But you got to be open. That's the nature of love. You got to open your hand if you're going to receive. And that open hand can also, if you're going to give rather, and that open hand it takes to receive as well. I think I understand that. Don't be afraid of the pain, because the fear of the pain will stop you from experiencing the pleasure. Yes, pain may come, but you have to be willing to take the chance. Because if you don't take the chance, you will not receive what there is for you to receive. Peace. Later, we talk again.